go to the Eagles. Miles Sanders, he's the RB19 right now. Thoughts on Sanders heading into this year?
Well, at first when Doug Peterson got canned, I thought, well, this is great. We're going to have Miles Sanders be a workhorse back. But I'm afraid the Eagles is going to be the same old running back by committee where we don't really know how it's going to shape out. I think he'll dominate the rushing attempts. But when it comes to the receiving work, I'm very worried about their 5th-round pick, Kenneth Gainwell, to sap some of the receiving usage there. And, Miles Sanders has struggled as a receiver lately. Last year, he had the second highest drop rate among running backs at 21%. So he's going to have to improve there. So I'm worried they're just going to use, Gainwell or Boston Scott or even Kerryon Johnson in the passing game. So, I'm shying away from Miles Sanders, who I think will benefit from having Jalen Hurts under center. We saw that last year where as soon as Jalen Hurts started playing quarterback, Miles Sanders was a lot more efficient in the running game, but I don't think we can confidently say he's going to be a workhorse back. So I've been shying away from him at the end of that running back 2 tier.
Yeah, he seemed to break a big play like every week when he got the ball. And so it's kind of a situation where I think, if you believe in his talent, I wouldn't say like shot. I would at least take him at ADP, but remember big plays are kind of fickle. They're hard to carry over from year to year. And then, his pass game work could be threatened. What a fall from grace from Kerryon Johnson, who's probably not even worth, discussing any more than like, I guess Jordan Howard or somebody was, like a few years ago. So what I think is interesting about this team is, obviously Jalen Hurts, who we'll get to, but the tight end situation. You have Dallas Goedert at tight end 8, Zach Ertz at tight end 16. Ertz does not want to be there. He's kind of done with Philly. What do you make of the situation? Is Goddard a safe pick as a top 10 tight end? And does it really matter what happens with Ertz? Because I know the usage kind of switched down the stretch last year a little bit.
Yeah, I think it definitely matters what happens with Ertz. I think I had Dallas Goedert at tight end 7 about a month ago, but I've been slowly lowering his projection a bit because what the hell, man? Why aren't they trading away Zach Ertz? So it kind of worries me that he hasn't been traded away quite yet. Obviously, there's still some time, but I think once Zach Ertz inevitably gets traded, I think I'll bump Goddard back up to tight end 7. I've always been, advocating for Goddard the past couple seasons. Whenever Zach Ertz is out of the lineup, I think he's a top 5 tight end. But if they do keep Ertz around and maybe they trade him later in the season, I think I'm off Goddard. I would consider him more of a tight end 10 in that situation. Because I don't think a guy like Jalen Hurts can support more than, 2 or 3 fancy relevant pass catchers in the offense. So if both Goddard and Ertz are there, I'm going to be down on both of them.
See, Ertz was actually traded like 3 months ago. It just takes him a while to separate at this point in his career. So he'll be out by week 1 now. I don't like it's
where do you think Ertz should go? Where do you think is the best fit?
I would say a team, Baltimore would be interesting because I think that team needs to go back to like that 2 tight end set. And
Hayden Hurst role.
Right. I think the Rams would be interesting. And then, obviously any team that has like no tight ends,
Colts, Carson Wentz.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I think, they always have they have Doyle and Cox still there. It's
exactly
serviceable, but I think Ertz would help. But the thing is, the only reason I hesitate to say the Colts is because, if you kind of like followed the Philly media and like the inside, like locker room leaks and stuff, apparently that's what caused a lot of tension on the team and contributed to Wentz's struggles was that he would just look for Ertz, who can't, isn't as good anymore. And that would like slow his reads down to the receivers who, were obviously not great, but still like could separate and run faster than Ertz at this stage. So I just wonder if that may like actually mess up Wentz, just, having that security blanket who's not really that secure anymore. But Ertz is probably just, he probably should be like more, not an every snap player anymore. I think that would kind of lengthen his career. But a guy who just started his career, Devonta Smith, he's the wide receiver 40. And then Jalen Reagor 67. What do you think of Smith, the first round pick for Philly? Did he have some upside at 40?
Well, I love him, and I was hoping the Lions would take him. He would just be, wide receiver 3 from day one for me. So I don't like the landing spot much. He'll probably break the recent trend of the Eagles drafting busts early on. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, Jalen Rager. It's too soon to call him a bust, but he was very disappointing last year. I think Devonta Smith will break that trend, but I think a bet on him is a bet on Jalen Hurts. You're going to have to believe that Jalen Hurts is going to make a pretty big year 2 leap as a passer to take him. So I'm a fan of, if you're in best ball, take a Hurts Smith stack, because in order for Smith to go off, Hurts is going to have to go off as well. But again, we'll get to it when we get to Hurts, but I'm a little bit hesitant thinking that Hurts is going to make a big year 2 leap as a passer. So that's why I'm a little bit down on Smith, even though I do love him as a talent.
Yeah, I mean, I like Smith. I think I like him at 40. I just think he's going to be open. I just think he's going to be like, there will be many plays where he'll be the only guy open. And you know what I mean? Like he's going to get open more than Goddard. He's going to get open more than Ertz. He's going to get open more than Rager. Like, he's already the best guy that's going to get open. So you're going to have Hurts, and you're going to have those broken plays, even if you don't have like the consistent down and down. But remember, Hurts had he had like a 300-yard game or two in those 4 starts. So
and
like
we had him as a QB5 in that range.
We were like every week we were like above consensus on Hurts. Right. So yeah. I'm not too worried about it. I think this guy's talented. I think he had a case for that being the first wide receiver taken, or at least the second in the draft. So but let's get to the Eagles prop.
So Jalen Hurts, his rushing yards is why I love him still as a low end QB1. Where do you have him projected? My rushing projection for him is 750 right now. Are you over under?
I'm at 790. I love Hurts this year. I think for the same reasons that I and probably all of us loved him last season. And that's because when you look at how much he scrambles, that's what's really giving him his upside. He scrambled about 14% of the time. And remember, scrambles are almost like pass attempts in terms of yardage. Like, you're going to get about 6-7 yards on average per scramble. Whereas a design run, even if you're talking about like a Kyler Murray or somebody, that design runs are more in line with a normal carry, like, like a 4 or 5 yard run. Whereas a scramble can be like 6, 7, 8 yards on average. So Hurts was scrambling essentially more than any other quarterback in the league last year. This guy was the top most frequent scrambler, and so that carries over. That's a very predictive metric. Like, a quarterback who scrambles. A quarterback who doesn't. And then the design runs could change a little bit, but even that's consistent too. And so I think quarterback rushing production is just a consistent stat and something that gives the quarterback upside and something where you can find value. And that's why, like Lamar, even in his first full year, it was like, okay, how much of this is going to carry over? And like a lot did. He wasn't getting 26 carries because he was the quarterback, but he was still, the scrambles were there, the design runs were there, and I think they'll be there for Jalen Hurts. So I love him. He's still going at quarterback 10. I mean, this guy has number 1, number 2 overall upside, just as Lamar did a couple years ago. So this is a guy I'm targeting across all fantasy drafts. And then I love your Smith stack idea because I'm so high on Hurts.